We were told that Saturn is a gas giant, beautiful, mysterious, but passive, a distant pearl of the outer solar system, shrouded in swirling clouds and surrounded by rings of frozen dust. But what if it's not just that? What if there's something hidden beneath that elegant shell that we weren't meant to find? In 2017, the Cassini spacecraft was deliberately destroyed. It was sent into Saturn's atmosphere after 20 years of transmitting data. Officially, this was done to avoid contaminating Saturn's moons. Unofficially, some say Cassini saw too much. Secret images, unexplained signals, and anomalies that didn't fit any planetary model. In this story, we will reveal what Cassini's final orbits showed and why its destruction may have been more than just protocol. Because once you know what Saturn really is, you can never unsee it. Cassini's final mission was not a soft retirement. It was called the Grand Finale, a series of 22 risky dives between Saturn and its rings. This was uncharted territory. No spacecraft had ever flown through this region before. According to the official version, the goal was to collect the latest data on the planet's gravity and atmosphere. But these dives did not go unnoticed. When Cassini passed between the planet and the inner rings, its sensors detected something strange. Fluctuations in the magnetic field, as if something massive and invisible was hidden beneath the atmosphere. Instruments designed to measure gas density recorded inexplicable spikes, short-lived pockets of denser material where there should have been only hydrogen and helium. In some orbits, the spacecraft's trajectory changed slightly, as if it were being pulled by forces that no one had predicted. These anomalies were quietly buried in technical reports, but some mission scientists began to ask dangerous questions. Was Cassini sensing gravitational disturbances caused by something larger than atmospheric currents? Could there be a structure hidden inside Saturn, something massive, possibly artificial, disrupting the probe's path? The deeper Cassini dove, the stranger the readings became, until finally it was sent on its last journey, with no return. One of the most mysterious phenomena discovered by Cassini is the persistent hexagonal storm at Saturn's North Pole, a giant hexagonal structure rotating with mechanical precision. It was first spotted by Voyager and then studied in detail by Cassini. The storm has puzzled scientists for decades, but what Cassini showed in the infrared and visible ranges during its final orbits was even stranger. The storm did not just persist, it evolved. The edges of the hexagon began to pulsate with thermal anomalies, with a rhythm that resembled not chaotic weather, but a pattern. Some began to call it a chain or contour. Although the official explanation boiled down to atmospheric dynamics, Cassini's microwave sensors detected layers of energy deep beneath the clouds that could not be explained by normal processes. At one point, an ethylene emission suddenly burst out of the hexagon region, 100 times more than expected. No one could explain why. Symmetry, temperature pulsations, chemical bursts, none of it added up. Was the hexagon just a quirk of physics, or was it the signature of something operating beneath the clouds? Cassini explored not only Saturn, but also its moons. One of them stood out in particular, Enceladus, a tiny icy world with geysers erupting from its south pole, spewing water vapor and organic compounds into space. Cassini flew through these plumes and analyzed their composition. It detected hydrogen, methane, and complex organic compounds, signs of a deep, salty ocean beneath the ice. But one of the flybys, officially mentioned only in passing, recorded something else. When the probe crossed the geyser, the magnetic field changed. This was not a natural fluctuation, but a pulse, rhythmic, repetitive, almost like a code. Some explained it as mineralogical processes. Others spoke of a handshake, a non-random signal that only triggered when in direct contact with the geyser. Cassini automatically switched sensor modes, but what it recorded during those few seconds remains classified. In 2013, Cassini took one of its most famous photographs, Earth from Saturn's shadow. It was the day Earth smiled. But that wasn't the only shot. The same series included images directed not at Earth, but at the rings. And there were faint points of light moving against the static background. Some were dismissed as debris, but others moved purposefully, changing course, accelerating, disappearing behind shadows, and reappearing in other places. Cassini also studied Titan, a moon the size of Mercury with a dense orange atmosphere. Radar and infrared images showed rivers, seas, and lakes of liquid methane and ethane. But the strangest thing was the absence of acetylene in the atmosphere, a substance that should have been there. One report suggested that something was consuming it. Methane-based life? The term was mentioned and immediately removed. And that's not all. Cassini's radio receivers picked up radio and plasma waves from Saturn, sometimes with an orderly, almost musical structure. During the last dives, the frequencies took on a distinct pattern that did not resemble anything natural. Even the rings turned out to be younger than expected, only about 100 million years old. Too young to be primary. If someone created or maintains them, then who? In the final hours of the mission, communication with the team became quieter and updates became vague. Officially, the signal disappeared 30 seconds later than expected, but leaks suggest a final burst of data, compressed, unfiltered, sent milliseconds before burnup. What did Cassini transmit in its last breath? Perhaps something we were not meant to see. It was destroyed quickly and deliberately, but perhaps its last act was not to collect data, but to bury it. Cassini became a witness, a silent observer who may have uncovered the most disturbing secrets in the history of space exploration.